Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 143. Today we're talking about 4 ways to improve your body image and your self-esteem. This is a topic that is obviously very popular in today's culture and society with the body positivity movement, the anti-diet culture, all of these different types of things. And while I have mixed feelings on those, I think everything that I'm going to be talking about in this minisode comes from either my own anecdotal evidence with the hundreds of clients that I've worked with and what has worked for them personally, then also evidence from what has worked for me personally with my own experience and trying to improve these things for myself. And then also what the current body of literature, the scientific evidence, and the people and the professionals who study these fields. I follow quite a few of them and their work, and I love to learn more about this stuff because it is not exactly up my wheelhouse as much, because this gets deep into psychology and other mental health realms that I am not as well versed in. However, I found some things that I think will work, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The very first way that I would recommend to improve your body image and self-esteem is, and this is going to be a tough one, I know from experience, but it's detaching your self-worth from your results or lack thereof of your results. Right. I think that the best example that I could give that is very relatable to me is I tend to do this with work. And so whenever, let's just use an Instagram post, for example, if I put out an Instagram post that I think is going to crush, I'm really proud of the work that I did. My interpretation and happiness tends to teeter on how well that Instagram post performs. Because if I thought, oh, this is going to crush, I put it out there and then it doesn't crush, well, then I feel stupid for lack of a better term, right? It's just like my self-worth can get wrapped up in the work that I put out there, when in actuality, it's just like I am not my work, just like you are not your weight or your bench press or whatever other fitness external indicator you can think of that you have teetered your own happiness on, right? Because I think while it's important to track certain things, right? You want to make sure that you are making progress. You're trending in the right direction. You're doing the things that you need to do. But I think that this can become unhealthy whenever your day starts off by getting on the scale, you having the expectation that you're going to weigh less than you did yesterday, and then the scale is higher, and so then you feel down, right? You feel like a failure. You feel like you're just not good enough. However, you're much more, way much more. You're so much more than just the number on that scale, and this is why, with my own one-to-one coaching program, one of the biggest things that I try to teach people is that the main thing I want them to do is to keep more promises they make to themselves. I want them to keep their word to themselves, because this is how, in my opinion, and I think what I've seen in the literature as well, as far as competence goes and self-esteem, you keep more promises to yourself that align with who you wish you were, right? As far as your ideal and who you think that you could be. And I think that your self-confidence and competence and esteem will follow suit, right? However, that being said, what has to be reiterated here is that there's a big difference between keeping the promises you make to yourself in the sense of, saying to yourself, I'm a healthy individual. I care about my health, not because of necessarily how it'll make me look. Not that, of course, that isn't a factor of it, but it's more so the byproduct of being a healthy individual in general, right? Without having to be super obsessive or letting my self-esteem teeter whether or not I have 10% body fat or 30% body fat, right? As long as I am aligning my actions with who I think I could be as a person, then I think that the self-confidence and the overall general happiness of your life will improve. Your self-esteem will improve. And this is a big difference between that and saying that keeping the promise to yourself of, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. Right? There's a difference there, as opposed to making the main goal and the main promise you make to yourself, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. It's like, what if instead you focused on your own wellness and emotional well-being and your physical well-being, and then what will likely happen as a byproduct is also losing that 5 to 10 pounds. So it's just a certain framing that the way that you put it in your mind, that little mind shift, that can make all the difference, right? And I think that the key here is to remember that you are not your results or lack thereof. You are not a thing. You are not an object, but you are a process, right? This whole thing that you're doing, this whole self-improvement thing, whether it's in fitness or in life, it is a practice, not a goal. And I think that is the key, honestly, of this entire video. And that's why I'm spending a little bit more time on this one, because it is so important. But to remember that it's dynamic, right? You are not, okay, I weighed this much, therefore I am a failure, right? I failed in this goal, so therefore I am a failure, right? It's just like you just failed with that one post, right? Or that one day or something, right? You overate that one day. That's okay. This is a fluid, dynamic process that favors redemption, however you want to define that. And so I think that one about covers that one, but doing your best to detach your self-worth from this very narrow, specific desire that you have, right? Okay, the next way is going to be practicing better self-talk and not being a dick to yourself. This is something that I do with one-to-one coaching clients, but I also did this on purpose in my Fat Loss Accelerator, my rapid fat loss course, because of course, in a course like that, I want to make sure that body image and self-esteem and self-acceptance is still at play there. So one of the instructions that I give for those people, and sometimes that I give to clients, is to make sure that they have some type of self-talk goal. And this could be as simple as every single day, I want you to write down one thing that you are grateful for or that you love about yourself. But the key here is that the thing that you love about yourself can't be related to your physical body in the sense of how you look, right? Or aesthetics, right? It's like, I don't want you to talk about your face or your glutes or your arms or whatever, right? It's like, instead, I want you to focus it on how good of a friend are you? How good of a son or a daughter are you? How do you treat other people? Did you finish your to-do list today, right? Did you make your bed this morning? Did you eat in a way that made you feel good, right? Did you practice better self-talk today? Are you grateful for, X, Y, and Z, right? But having this type of subjective daily task to give to my clients and these people in the Fat Loss Accelerator, I think that can help balance out the other goals of saying, okay, I want to hit this calorie range, I want to hit this protein minimum, I want to hit this fiber goal. This is just kind of the other flip side of that coin to give you a more balanced approach between objective feedback and subjective feedback. And so practicing better self-talk and not being a dick to yourself will absolutely lead to greater motivation. It will lead to greater self-esteem. It will lead to you getting to your goal faster. It's just like if you're going after the goal, there's two ways that you can go about it. You can either be a dick to yourself and try and reach it and then probably be miserable in the process, or you can be kinder to yourself, probably reach the goal a little bit faster and also enjoy the process on the way there, right? So if you just understand that objectively, being a dick to yourself is actually being counterproductive to the goal that you say is important to you. Then you realize, oh shit, I'm literally only self-sabotaging myself, and there's probably something deeper here that I need to address, which actually leads me to my next way of improving your body image and self-esteem, and that is around this is more around like overeating, but around overeating or binging or just negative self-talk in general, as I was just mentioning. But using these urges to overeat or to binge or this militant berating of yourself, using all of these things more so as a compass to explore the deeper meanings behind them. Right? So these negative emotions are a call to action. There's something there that you need to reflect on. And so it's just like whenever you do have these urges to overeat, it's just like what continuously, like what are the patterns here, right? So what time of day is it? Who are you around? What type of environment is it? What type of feelings are you having at that time? Are you lonely? Are you sad? Are you bored? Are you scared? Like all of these different things, you're not going to figure this stuff out without a decent amount of self-reflection. And this could be in the form of journaling. This could be in the form of meditation and or all of the above. But what's important is that use these urges, use these times of whenever you're having these negative thoughts and things to pause, right? To pause and to take inventory on what's actually going on. I'm not saying to suppress these emotions or to not feel them. However, you can take a more detached look at them as an outsider or as a friend, right? Just what would you say to a friend who's having these same emotions? That's something to consider as well. But being a dick to yourself and also not choosing to explore these certain emotions isn't actually going to fix the issue. And maybe that's something that you have to confront. Maybe you actually don't want to fix these issues. However, you enjoy the drama of complaining about them on a regular basis or saying, I am X, right? Putting that label on yourself because that's part of your identity. That's what you always have identified as. And maybe you don't want to fix that because you enjoy the drama and the feeling of being alive whenever you have those negative emotions in your life, because maybe there isn't something else that fulfills that void otherwise, right? So that's something that, and I know that can sound harsh, but this is something that you really need to consider, right? I've talked about this with clients. I was like, do you actually enjoy this drama and you're actually just self-sabotaging yourself over and over again? Do you actually want to make this change? And if you don't, like, what are you afraid of? What are you actually afraid of? You know, that's something that you definitely need to consider reflecting on and exploring. All right. And lastly, this one's super important and things that I've touched on throughout this entire thing, but it's using enjoyment as your main motivator as opposed to some type of external motivator, such as like weight loss, right? Or saying that you're going to lose. And I'm not saying that choosing weight loss or having a certain goal as like losing 5 pounds or losing 10 pounds is a bad thing. I think that it's not either or. I think you can have both. And it depends on the context of the individual and their overall mindset and how they feel about these things. However, I think what can be helpful, and going back to that mind shift I was talking about earlier, it's just like how can you focus instead on eating that salad? And I've talked about this multiple times in other minisodes as well. How can you focus on eating that salad, not because it's lower in calories or lower in fat or whatever, but because it has the nutrients that's going to nourish your body to perform well, to be stronger, to live longer, to live a happier life, right? So this simple framing of this is going to bring me more life as opposed to I just want to be smaller or to have less adipose tissue on my body, right? It's just like there's two different things here, and the way that you frame it can be everything, right? And so promoting physical and emotional wellness and how you feel over I want to lose 1 pound this week, and therefore eating this salad and hitting these certain calories or whatever is going to elicit that response. It's a more humanistic way of looking at it as opposed to a more objective and data-driven way of doing it. Not to say that there's any that isn't also important. The data is important. Tracking is important. However, that can't be your only motivator. It can be a motivator, but not the only motivator. Okay. And that is it for Minisode 143. Hope that has helped you guys out. 4 ways to improve your body image and self-esteem. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy the podcast, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, rate, review, hit the fucking like button, do all that other fun stuff, whatever it is that you're supposed to do. But it really helps me out. It helps us out. It's a win-win for everybody. Gets the podcast out there, builds our community, and yeah. That's it. Thank you guys, as always, for listening and for watching. See ya.